Kind of hard to launch Zoom when I'm already in Zoom.
I know, right?
Mhm.
So here we go. You know what? That's
It worked.
haha success.
Success. You can do it. Wow, that
And
was scary.
just making everything a little bit pretty over on the over on the old YouTube is. There we go. A little bit better. A little bit better. Yeah, all right. All right. We're getting it there.
I see. Look at that. You're moving us around. Look at that.
Yes. Ha ha
The wonders of
ha.
technology. The wonders of technology. It's so fantastic.
Oh, I do believe that's all of it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say go live on Instagram, but I don't have the live thing to go on Instagram. But
Maybe eventually. I'll look into it this week.
okay,
We'll see
yeah,
what we can do.
yeah. Let's do that. We
All
do that.
right. Well, we're good to
So,
go, right?
but we
Let's
are
see. We're
good.
on the
Yeah,
YouTubes.
we're
All
on the
right,
YouTubes. Yeah, you're on the YouTube.
folks.
You're on Twitch, right?
This is the Rules of Nerdquisition for March 30th, 2025. We are broadcasting on our YouTube channel live at the Rules of Nerdquisition and also on my Twitch channel at Transgression. So rock on. Welcome to the new era of the Rules of Nerdquisition. And this today is The Trouble with Tribbles, Season 2, Episode 15. I'm Gretchen.
Yes.
He's Gilbert. You know who
Hello.
we are. You know who we are.
You know
How's
these
everybody
lovely
doing?
faces. You know
Right. How are
these
you doing?
lovely faces. I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Another wonderful day.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So we get to the episode where I uh I get my send off phrase of keep your trouble spayed and neutered. This is why.
This is why. You're going to learn why today if you don't already know.
You're gonna learn today. You're
We're
gonna
going to
learn
learn you.
today.
You will learn.
Uh,
We will teach you how
yeah,
it's going to go. But what what a
but
fantastically fun episode this is. Like
oh my god. Jesus Christ.
almost comedy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I had to put my phone on do not disturb. I'm sorry.
I already did that. Yes, we've already done that. I'm on Do Not Disturb.
Oh gosh.
But
No,
we're
this,
changing.
but yeah. Uh, new
We're
day.
changing things around a little bit on where we broadcast at. We don't need to give you more context than that, but let me just tell you, going forward, this is a family fucking friendly show.
Absolutely.
No more swear jar violations. All right. Because we're
So
only on YouTube and we are only over on Twitch, and that's what we do. And I know I'm behind on getting the episodes on the podcast on Spotify and Apple.
hey,
I'm
look,
working
cut her
on it.
some slack. All right,
I'm moving in 5 weeks,
cut
751 miles.
cut her some slack. Damn. All right.
But we'll get there.
Damn.
We'll get there.
Besides, go back on the live streams. You know, you can all throughout
Yep.
our YouTube. Yeah, you'll see our past stuff. You'll
Yep.
see it.
They're over there
You'll
on the
see it.
rules and acquisition. And they'll start being
See.
broadcast on Twitch too going forward. I mean, that channel just sits there doing nothing. I might as well use it for something.
Is that right? And so, you know,
But let's
I'm also
let's talk some tribbles.
I'm also gonna. I think we should start putting it up on Podbean as well, because
Hey,
yeah,
hey, Podbean. Just get it out there everywhere. Everywhere we can.
yeah, just get all up out there. But trouble with tribbles. Oh, so oh again, one of the just a flat out comedy episode because
Yes.
this is just one of those episodes where so many just like after aliens and gods and all powerful clouds and AI and killer
And Jack the
robots
Ripper.
and Jack the Ripper. We
I mean, last week was like a murder mystery episode. I mean, as
yeah,
straightforward and cut and dry as it was, me and Dak and Gilbert talking about that. It
it
was
was a
still some heavy themes, violence against women and stuff. And
right. And so and again, that was one just the classic murder mystery trope. So and again we move on to here to this one. It's just one just to let you know that hey, even in space, shit can be funny. Shit
shit
can
can
be
be
fucking hilarious in space.
in space. We
In
can't hear you.
space,
We can't hear you giggle. Everyone can hear
it's
you giggle in space.
everyone can hear you giggle if you French tickle them.
I mean, it starts pretty heavy. I mean, we get
We start out with a distress call,
a
you
distress
know,
call. Yeah,
going out to a space station, and
Deep Space Station K7. It should have
so
been
yes,
retro named as Deep Space Seven. That just would have been neat,
it would
you
have.
know.
Yeah, just kind of give it like, hey, it's Deep Space 7. Oh, we know about Deep Space 9. Hmm, what about
I mean,
Deep
if there's a
Space
Deep
8?
Space Nine, there was 1 through 8 before that, I
I said,
assume, right?
there had to be a 1 through 8. So
And and
you just
didn't in
can't.
one of the later movies, Riker mentioned something like a distress call came from Deep Space Five or something?
I think
Maybe it
so.
was First Contact.
Or Deep Space. I know it wasn't Deep Space 9. It was another Deep Space one, but yeah, it may have been 5. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm wondering
I'm
here.
wondering
Let's see.
because I know you were going to research the Oracle.
Yes, I'm researching the Oracle. I'm gonna find out. I want to know. I mean, someone have to type this in differently. References to deep space, not space stations in Star Trek and others. Let's see. Deep Space Three was mentioned in the Star Trek episode TNG Interface. That's the one where Geordi hooks up and he thinks he found his mom.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Hmm. Deep
Okay.
Space Four was mentioned in TNG episode The Chase and also Voyager The Gift. Was shut down in 2400 as stated in Card. Deep Space
Oh.
Five was mentioned in TNG Parallels and TNG First Contact. There's the one I was looking for. There are also
All
references
right.
to Deep Space 7, 11, and 12 and other episodes. Two of those Picard, one of those Voyager. So yeah, the
Yes,
Deep
but we
Space
all
episodes are out there.
but we all know Deep Space 9 is the best because why? Benjamin motherfucking Cisco. Benjamin.
Benjamin motherfucking Cisco. I was getting mixed up. Benjen is the name of a character from Game of Thrones. Uncle Benjen, the one that became
Yeah.
Cold Hands, the
Mhm.
sort of White Walker that saved his nephew. But anyway, we're not a Game of Thrones show. We might talk
So
about it one day.
we'll talk about Game of Thrones one day because I mean, yeah, I do, and you enjoy the Game of Thrones.
Mhm.
You know, it's a
Well,
great, it's a great
we'll have
series.
things to say about how it ended, but a lot of people do.
It's a great show. Up until the end. Uh, I just think that the ending could have used some work. I had notes.
Was, in a nutshell, very similar to the problems of The Last Jedi. You took one of the main characters who
Hmm.
completely went against their moral compass, the
Yes.
the the content of their character and did something completely out of character, it wasn't
And
representative of them.
correct. So we'll
So
talk about that one day. We'll touch on
we'll,
that.
we'll get there. So yeah, this guy
So
Niles, is that his name?
Niall,
Niles, what's his face or what have you?
here
Niles
you,
Barris, yeah.
Niles
He sends
Barris,
this distress signal because he needs the Enterprise to come guard
and
this
guard is
grain called
is green.
quadrotriticale. Now, even though quadrotriticale is a not real grain, triticale is an actual genetically hybrid grain. It is a cross between wheat and rye, and you will find it in health food stores and in breakfast cereals at your local grocery store.
So this is the space version.
Right. And it's called quadrotriticale because of its four lobes when it grows. Okay. Four lobes. Great.
Oh,
Four lobes.
the more you know. The
But hey,
more
so Kirk
you
gets there, right? And he's
know.
just like, God, you did not need
So
to do a distress
Kirk
signal for
is
this. But
like,
hey, while we're here, let's do some shore leave, I guess. We'll hang out,
yeah,
whatever.
because Kirk is irritated as fuck because he's like, why the hell have to come over here and guard this stupid ass grain? It's just fucking
Yeah.
grain.
Like last week, bro, I took down Jack the Ripper
So
400 years after his reign of terror began. And now you got me
he's like,
guarding your wheat.
so I took down Jack the fucking Ripper, and now you have me out here guarding grain. What the fuck, man?
I've taken
I
down Jack the Ripper. I banished Khan to SETI Alpha
so
5. I
I
took out
mean
the Dookie machine. I've done everything, man.
everything, man. And you
My
got me
legend
out
is
here.
only just beginning to grow, and you got me guarding. You got me guarding breakfast cereal.
So you got me guarding rice. You got me guarding, and you you you're fucking killing me, man. You're fucking
You're
killing me.
fucking killing. This Nils Barris should have had like a straw hat and like a long string of grain hanging out of his mouth.
I just wear it overalls. Just say, look at here.
Hey, look at that! I wore my overalls too today for
Say,
the
look at
grain
here.
episode. Look at me, all farmerish today.
Say, look at here. Say, look
My
at here,
straw
Captain
hats.
Kirk.
My straw hat's actually right over there. I won't get the straw hat though, and I don't have any wheat to chew on. So I'm sorry. So at the same time, we've got a Klingon vessel that is also in
So
the area, and since it's neutral space, they're gonna let the Klingons come on board for some shore leave of their own.
right. So
But we also have
what
another
could
character,
what could go
Cyrano
wrong?
Jones.
So what could go
Right.
wrong?
We've got Klingons, Federation, and shady
So
interstellar traitor named Cyrano Jones.
absolutely. So what could go wrong?
What could go wrong? But I would be remiss if I didn't do my trademark call out.
Here
And I'm
we
going to do two
go.
today because I'm pretty sure that I've done this one before. But the first one I'm going to mention is William Campbell, who played Captain Koloth. He did reprise that role in Deep Space Nine. But he was also Lane and the Squire of Gothos. We have already done that episode, so that's why I
Mm-hmm.
believe that I have covered this before. He passed away April 28th, 2011, at the age of 87. He had a long film and television career and was doing Star Trek conferences up until about 5 years before his death. So, congrats to you for sticking with it, loving the fandom, being who you are. Rest in peace. But the second one, which is a new one, actor Stanley Abramowitz, who played Cyrano Jones in this episode, the uh,
Mm-hmm.
the quintessential devil in this plot line here, that introduced the Tribbles. He played
Yes.
Cyrano Jones and passed away April 27th, 1977, at the age of 62. And you were a comedic, a welcome comedic presence in this episode, sir. You were very funny,
So
very
yes.
goofy, very fumbling, but we'll get to the fight
So
scene. That's
oh my
great.
gosh. The fight
We'll get
scene.
the fight scene. We'll get there. Which by the way, you almost have to watch this episode and then immediately watch Tribbles and or Trials and Tribulations, which is a
Yes.
Deep Space Nine episode when Cisco and Dax and O'Brien,
And
they
Odo, I believe,
Odo,
right? Yes.
yeah, and they come back to this episode and get intermingled, and it almost flawlessly intertwined.
Yes. I will
It was
say
fantastic.
the the video editing on this was on that particular episode was absolutely just flawless
Yes,
because
it was.
if you did not know better, then you would really think that, yep, this is a scene from the original series, like a deleted scene or something like that from the original series. Because again, it was just blended in and seamed in just so flawlessly, and it.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, when Kirk was dressing down Miles O'Brien, you would not
Yes.
know they weren't in the same episode, that they weren't literally standing 6 inches from each other.
Right.
You would not have known.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then in the final scene when Benjamin Sisko
The
hands the report
clipboard.
to Captain Kirk and he hands it
Right.
back and it's like, oh, and you see almost like Cisco kind of
Uh,
fanboying. He's like,
He's
oh
fanboying.
my,
Yeah,
oh
he's
my god, oh my
definitely
god, oh my god,
fanboying.
it's Kirk, it's Kirk, it's Kirk.
It's Kirk. It's Kirk. And like we covered last week, Cisco, we all stood for you in your corner because we know that while that
Mm.
fight would have been a good one, our boy's coming out on top.
Oh, absolutely.
Our boy's coming out
Because
on top.
Cisco,
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I mean,
Cisco knows how
Muhammad
to throw them
Ali versus
hands.
Kurt.
He knows how to throw them hands.
Yeah,
He
like
knows how to
Muhammad
throw them
Ali,
hands.
they call me Cassius. Mama said, you
Knock
bad.
you out. Like if you got the Bajoran pantheon of gods behind your back, yeah, you know how to throw them hands.
Right, exactly.
Like
Exactly.
you got
But
Bajoran gods calling you, say you're the emissary. They say, yeah, gods of Bajor, they got your back. You gonna throw some hands. You
I mean, you almost
like, you
got to
punch
take
it.
a page out of Cypher's book from Matrix
Mm-hmm.
when he's talking to Neo and he's like, did Morpheus tell you why he did it? And Neo's like, yeah. And he's like, God, what a mind job. How do you respond to that? Like, you're just
Right?
been told that you're the one.
It's like
You're
how
the
do you
one, man.
like you're the one. Like how do you fucking
What do you say to
cipher?
that?
Fucking cipher. What do you say to that?
Fucking
How can you respond to that? Like being told that the entirety of everything is your responsibility. The fuck? Nah, man.
And there is
Uh,
something we need to talk about sometime soon is the Matrix trilogy. Well, quadrilogy, I guess, because there's four. Have you seen the newest one?
I have. I have.
Resurrections. And
Mm-hmm.
then also the Animatrix. I just watched that this past few days, sort of revisited that.
Yeah.
The new
Yeah.
the new Renaissance parts 1 and 2. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, those are heavy. I mean, the
And the
Animatrix is
animate
kind of a better movie than Reloaded or
like I
Resurrection.
did love Animatrix just simply because it's like all of these other just like background stories of the main
Mhm.
story of the Matrix, and it's just they're a lot more captivating.
Yeah,
At least you know.
maybe we'll get to that after this episode. I mean, I don't think we had a secondary topic set up anyway, so I don't know.
Oh no, we talked. Oh, then we talked about. Oh, what was it? Concerning interstellar travel.
Mm, okay.
That's one thing. Well, We thought about talking about that, but either way.
We did the one response to the one guy
Yeah,
who did the video on TikTok. I mean, it wasn't a whole show or topic. We just kind of addressed it
it's
briefly,
like
but
yeah.
that's
I
another
mean,
thing too, because you and I think you and I have a valid debate because Gilbert and I have recently decided, oh, I mean, we've sort of come to the conclusion that Contact and Interstellar are both our favorite most realistic science fiction movies that are out there.
Correct.
The only difference is I think Interstellar is number one and Contact number two, where
I
Gilbert
think
believes that Contact is number
number one
one.
and
And
Interstellar is number two.
but it's so hard because I adore both of those movies.
Yeah, same
I
here.
mean,
Same here. And
Interstellar's made by Chris Nolan. We love him. We know he's a fantastic creator. But I mean,
yeah,
Contact is based on a book written by Carl fucking Sagan,
right? And
the godfather of astronomy and
mhm.
astrophysics. Come on, man. Copernicus
and
ain't got shit on me.
I mean they could try, but you know what? Sagan had one thing right. It said math is the language of the universe. So
Mhm. And hi, I'm an accountant. I support this message.
I mean,
Numbers
no matter
matter.
where you go in the universe, 2 + 2 always equals 4.
But yeah, I mean, we all love people like Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Right. Yeah.
Michio Kaku.
Um.
Is that the Japanese astrophysicist? You know what I'm talking about?
Said
I like him
meet
a
you.
lot.
Oh
I
gosh.
might be pronouncing his name wrong. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it says Michio Kaku.
Meet you Kaken. Yeah.
Yep,
Said Michio.
Kaku. Mm-hmm.
Michio
He's
Kaken.
78 years old. Yep,
And
he's seven. I love him. And they
Charles
both
Liu.
him and yep,
Charles
all
Liu.
three of
Yeah.
them. All
Oh yeah.
three of them credit Carl Sagan with being vastly inspirational in their
Oh yeah.
careers.
Yeah. Matter of fact, Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's told many times of the story of him meeting Carl Sagan.
Mm-hmm.
And
One of my dreams, I know I never would have done it because I was kind of a fuck off in high school. But like when I
mhm.
graduated high school and briefly considered going to college, Carl Sagan was still teaching astronomy at Cornell University. I was like, how cool would it be to go take astronomy from Carl Sagan? Because I grew up,
Yeah.
a lot like you. I didn't have cable. I had broadcast TV. That's the only way I could watch Star Trek was in reruns on PBS and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the shows I used to love growing up was Cosmos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh.
When that show
Oh.
came on, it was awesome. And I love DeGrasse Tyson's sort of, I
His.
don't want to say it's a reboot, but expansion.
I'd say this. The following seasons of Cosmos.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's bringing new information because, obviously science is always reinventing itself, always challenging
Finding.
what it
Yeah.
believes.
Finding new information and finding new things that are just new within space, new within the ocean, new within hell, just out in your backyard. So yeah,
It's
good stuff.
interesting too because I'm looking at this. Kaku um, is actually an astrophysicist who believed
Mm-hmm.
in a supreme being that created the cosmos. But he believes that this being has no specific interest in human life, probably just created us and was like, that's neat, and went off to do something else. And has long
Mm,
forgotten what's going on here. Which,
that makes sense. 'Cause I mean, if you're an almighty powerful being and you could just make life just like that, then it's like oh, that's pretty cool. Let's put them all in this little blue thing right here. That's a little blue little marble thing. Yeah, cool. Have some more here. That's cool. Yeah, have some more over here. That's cool. And then yeah, it's almost like a all powerful being, and we're just like part of its collection.
yep. Right, exactly. And I do, I mean, how many times have we created something? Look, I sort of look at it like, God, this could definitely be a whole second hour topic. But I mean, like video games. How many times do video game creators and developers create whole worlds? I
Right?
mean, I say it a lot. I play Red Dead Redemption a lot. I play it over and over. These days, I
Yes.
don't play through the story as much. Mostly, I just jump on my horse and I go riding through the countryside and I camp and I hunt and I do things I would do if I was out there in real life.
Yeah.
And it's a whole universe in and of itself. that's interacting and living, and people are doing their things in towns, and you know there's drunk people
Mm-hmm.
falling over and horses are pooping when and
Yeah,
they're
and it's kind of
anatomically correct. Like,
yeah, and same thing goes for Grand Theft Auto and for Skyrim. And there's plenty of times in Skyrim where you can go and you can play entire game, hours and hours on end and not even touch the main quest.
mhm.
Like you just go in and just say, you know what, I just want to go fish, and you could just do
Yep.
all of the fishing stuff and everything like that. You could just go from
one
every place like that and just to fish. Or if you
one of the
decide,
very
you
first
want to build your house, you could build a
right.
yeah.
That's what I do. So one of the very if I decide I'm going to sit down and play through the whole Red Dead Redemption 2 storyline, the very first thing I do is I wait to get out of the mountains into our first major camp. And then I spend the next couple of days upgrading the camp, upgrading
Mm-hmm.
my satchel,
Yeah.
searching out treasures, building my money up and stuff like that, acquiring the best horses before I even start doing storyline missions. I mean, like I'm
It's like,
fully
yeah.
upgraded by the time that I'm starting the main story. Like, all right, story, what you got for me? Because
It's like, oh my god. But yeah, I mean, it's like games now. It's like you have such an open world thing. Is that you don't have to focus on the main mission. You could just
mhm.
literally just play.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's the same series of games. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
isn't Skyrim part of the Elder Scrolls series or
Yes, it is correct. It is the fifth one in the series, number 6. Um, I I can't remember if it has an actual name or not. Where the where it actually takes place, because it doesn't take place in Skyrim. It takes place in another part of the whole Elder Scrolls universe. But
right? But it's
yeah,
in the same series of
but oh
games. I mean,
yeah, it's in the same series of games of Morrowind, Oblivion.
that's the one I was
Yeah.
looking for was Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. I remember I used to live with a guy years
Mm-hmm.
ago, before I got married, and he played it. But the thing about Morrowind was like he would go around to every town and kill all the civilians, and the game wouldn't respawn them. So like you could
Yeah.
literally like kill all the NPCs in the world and then exist in a world that had nobody in it.
Yeah, there is actually a guy on Reddit that did the same thing in Skyrim.
Right.
I just
Oh, so Skyrim doesn't respawn its civilians or anything like that either?
um it respawns the bandits and all of the enemies, it'll respawn. But as far as like
Right.
NPC characters, no. Like if you go into a town and you kill everybody in the town, guards, the jarl, wizard, everybody, they're not
Right.
respawning. But
Right. Because I think if I'm
yeah,
correct, and I'll have to ask my oldest about this, because we were talking about Fable not too long ago. Because there's a new Fable coming out apparently.
is
I
there?
didn't care for
Okay.
Fable 3 too much, but Fable 1 and 2 were fantastic games. But like,
Yeah.
you could start a family in town and you'd have a house and stuff like that. But like you could literally go into other people's houses and kill the people. And then if you come back to that town later on in life, like new people have moved in.
Yeah, because
Like it
I
wouldn't
remember
leave
that.
the homes empty.
Yeah, because I love the first one. I've not played the second or the third, but I love the first Fable.
The second one I thought was better than the first, but yeah, the third one didn't really hit. I know I just couldn't get into it,
Mm-hmm.
but I hear there's a fourth one coming for the newest gen of gaming consoles. And one of the first things I'm doing when I move, I'm still on a PS4, but one of the first things I'm doing when I move is I'm going to get a PS5 Pro. And I've been wanting to
Nice.
upgrade. I've been wanting to upgrade my gaming system for a while. I don't do a lot of computer gaming just because I'm not a big fan of mouse and keyboard gaming. I'm not very coordinated when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
But give me a
Yeah,
stick.
that's a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Now I know people will tell me, you can connect a controller to your place or to your PC. Yes, I know that. I have the Halo Master Chief Collection on stream, and I use an old PlayStation controller that I connect because I'm far
Right.
more accurate with a handheld stick than I am with keyboard and mouse. It's just I used to get wasted at Aliens versus Predator playing with my friend. I'd watch him
Oh
play and
my
he'd play an
god.
alien. He'd like run down the hallway, spiraling, like running up the walls, across the ceiling, down, just
I
utterly
see.
annihilating people. And I'm just trying to strafe and not get shot.
I see. I always played as a predator. On Alien, I always played as a predator, just because of the weapons.
The weapons and a lot of the
Uh,
lobbies or gaming rooms we went into, they would dummy down the predators. I mean, one, they were OP. There was no doubt about that. They
oh
were
yeah,
absolutely OP.
yeah.
You go into a room that allowed you to have that disc, the one you throw and it tracks
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yeah.
You were almost invincible.
Yes.
You just
That's
throw
what.
that thing and people are dying.
Yeah.
And wait, so and so is dead. So and so is dead. So and so killed so and so. I mean,
And
it's just popping up on the screen. So
yeah, that's
we
why I
go
love.
into lobbies and they're like, no stream weapons for the
Yeah.
predators.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like,
That's
okay, you
why.
just made them human then.
Yeah. That's why I always love played as a predator because of that goddamn disc.
A
Throw
goddamn
that
disc.
alien.
And the
Yeah.
tracking laser on your shoulder, which pretty much just
Mm-hmm.
anything you looked at was getting shot.
Right. And then one day, I decided, just for shits and giggles, let me play as the alien. Now, that shit was fun. That shit was fun, crawling up onto the ceilings and going around in the spiral and stuff like that. Oh my god.
You had the maneuverability, but you had to be really coordinated to do it. And the
Yeah.
sad thing was, a lot of the times you go into these lobbies and then these servers, and they'd have like evolution turned on. So you start the game as a face hugger. You got to run around. You got to find somebody to jump on their face and plant your embryo. But then you're a chest
Mm-hmm.
burster, and all you can do is run and hide. There's nothing you can do as a chest burster, nothing at all.
Right.
And then the people would camp next. They'd see a body with a face hugger on it, so they'd camp next to it and wait for you to pop out just so they could shoot you before you can even get to a vent and hide.
Right. So.
And then you evolved into I don't know what they called them, like you're just your standard warrior cast.
Okay.
Then there were the Praetorians. And then if
Right.
you lasted long enough and got enough kills, you could evolve into a queen. And then you could do serious damage.
Uh huh. But
That was fun.
the trick is would be kind of living until that point.
Yeah, you had to get kill streaks
Yeah.
to get to that point. Like every 5 kills, you go up an evolutionary level. But when they've got evolution turned on in these rooms, I mean, you're at a disadvantage for the first 3 levels because
Yeah,
somebody sees
because
you and shoots you, you're dead.
so run and hide, run and hide, run and hide. That's the only thing you
Even
could
as a
do.
standard, even as a standard xenomorph, you had to take a ninja approach. You had to sneak up on people. You couldn't just run across a room. They
Right.
just gun you down. Everybody's Bill
Mm-hmm.
Paxton at that point. Oh, you want some of this? Oh, you want some too? Come get some. Come on, come get some.
Oh shit.
But
So
anyway,
Bill
Cyrano
Paxton in the 80s.
Jones
Yeah. So Cyrano
meets
Jones.
Uhura and says, "Hey,
Mm.
honey, I've got
Say,
this fuzzy little ball for you."
said,
And
hey.
no, that's not innuendo.
Said no, that's a fact. Because he's like, hey, it's a tribble. See,
And
it likes
it's
you.
purring like a kitty cat, and it's soft and it's fluffy.
So yes, and you hear it, and oh, it's such a makes such a beautiful noise, and it's such a it's so cute. So Uhura has to have one.
Uhura must have one, so she gets one. And what does she do with it?
Leaves it alone.
She takes it to the Enterprise.
She takes it to the Enterprise, and then leaves it to its own vices. Then what ends up happening? Then there's two. Those two become four. That four become eight. That eight becomes 16.
Yeah, and everybody still loves them though. Even Spock, even
Mm-hmm.
who's not normally very emotional, was comments about how it is kind of soothing sound. It's
It's a very soothing kind of noise that it makes, and and admittedly,
at least,
you know, they're
at
they're
least in
they're
those
cute,
cases
and
there are
admittedly,
noises that they make that are awful,
say yes,
and that is in the
they
presence of Klingons.
they are Klingon detectors, great Klingon detectors, you know. So,
Right. Living Klingon detectors. Like, I want to be like the
uh,
Cinema Sins guy from YouTube. That's racist. Like, I mean, like they just automatically hate Klingons for no reason. They just hate them.
cinema sins. Oh my god, yes.
I have been
But
watching that a lot lately, and I just discovered it a few months ago, and that guy is
mm-hmm.
hilarious. I mean, he does it in jest. I know he loves the movies that he's doing, the
Oh
whole group of
yeah,
people that's behind it, but man, Cinema Sins
but
is just great.
it's still hilarious. That doesn't mean
He's always like, "That's racist."
it's a ding.
Uh,
Is it another logo of a ding? And it's always just
yeah.
and it always
So
kills me
so
with the ding 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 ding.
right, the ding 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 ding. I'll take a cent off for that, or then I'm going to
Does
give you
that take
12
one?
cents right here. Ding 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 ding.
But
Now he's got me doing it because what was I watching the other day? His breakdown of all Indiana Jones movies. And I only got through a couple of them, but I mean, he actually missed one sin that I have been screaming about for years, ever since I first saw Raiders of the Lost Ark. When that big
okay.
boulder comes rolling down, why didn't Indy just duck back in the cave that he came from rather than run away from it and be chased by it? Just let it
I
go
mean,
and
yeah,
just walk out behind it.
yeah. I thought the same thing too. I'm not gonna lie, because I mean, you see it coming down this way, you you have enough time where you can just like,
He had
oh shit.
more than enough time to just duck back into that cave. It was coming down way up ahead. He just could have just
Yeah,
stepped right
you
back.
knew you could see it is coming, and you know where it's going to land at. You know, so you worry about it getting stuck. You know, because at the rate that it's going, as
Possibly.
fast as it's going, it ain't getting stuck.
No,
That
it's
bitch is
breaking
go.
through something.
That bitch
Can
is
you
going.
imagine? Can you imagine, and pardon the pun here, the Sisyphean task of having to push that thing up into its nook and cranny there? I can see a
I
bunch of
got.
like, whoever the natives were in that time period in that temple. I think it was Aztec or
Oh my
something in
god,
South America, right?
it's funny you
Rolling
say
like
that. There
like
was
Sisyphus himself pushing that boulder up the hill. Like,
funny you said that. Robot Chicken did a skit where the guy was setting up the whole trap system
mhm.
and about the boulder and having the boulder go all the way up like that. And the guy was like asking questions. It's like, so what's to stop him from just stepping back? He's not gonna do that.
Back your dad,
So
son. Step back.
he's not gonna do that. So okay, so what we got here is we got your standard step on a drag and then shoots arrows out. So that's pretty standard. We've got here, you know, your
Well, not pretty standard. They had motion sensor technology back then. Like you just hold your hand up in the light and boom, the arrows start flying. Wow, that was you guys were advanced. I know that Aztecs and Mayans were very advanced for their time period, especially when it came to astronomy, astrophysics, and stuff like that. But
right.
wow, you guys had motion sensors. Damn.
It's like I mean, shit. The only thing we got is just Velcro.
This doesn't prove the ancient aliens theory. I don't know what does. I don't know what does.
Well, we got Velcro. We still got Velcro.
Thank you to Paul's ancestor for that one.
So thank you to Paul's ancestor, yes, who looked exactly like to Paul.
We looked exactly like the Paul. Like, oh my God, you look just like Jolene Blaylock. That is
And oh
stunning.
my god, that is so scary.
Absolutely stunning.
Yes. Yes, 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 absolutely.
So
So
So we're having some drinks
having some
in the
drinks, they're in the
lounge.
mess hall. Everybody's just kind of relaxing. They're on shore leave. Klingons are on shore leave, and they're just at the bar having a couple cold ones. Not just minding each other's business. Then what
Klingons are
ends up
having more than a
happening?
few cold ones, though. They're knocking him back at this point, I think, because they're getting a
They get a little
sloppy,
tipsy, little
a
tipsy,
little
little rowdy,
sloppy.
little sloshy, little sloshed, little rowdy. You know, that's how Klingons do. And then what ends up happening is just like how it always does when alcohol and two groups of people that don't like each other, somebody says something.
And it's not the insults to Captain Kirk
No,
or the Federation.
no,
Chekhov is chomping at the bit. He's like, oh,
no.
I'm gonna fight this dude.
He
And
said, I'm
Scotty's
gonna
like,
I'm
chill,
gonna
man.
knock his block off. I'm gonna knock his block. He said, nope,
Scotty's
chill,
like, chill, man.
chill, just chill.
But
And
then,
then
and then,
somebody,
dude, where's my car? And then,
somebody, and then, and then, somebody, one of the Klingons had the bright idea to say, oh, you fly that bucket of bolts, the Enterprise.
I didn't mean to say that the Enterprise should be hauling garbage. I meant to say that it should be hauled away as
As garbage.
garbage.
And
And don't you think you should rephrase that? Scotty's had enough.
and then fists start flying. Fists start flying and Klingons go flying, Federation goes flying, everybody goes
Chekhov
flying.
goes flying a couple
Chekhov goes
times.
flying.
He's just a little
Everybody
guy
goes
though.
flying. Everybody
Over the
goes
tables, all that stuff. And we didn't even know it yet, but like, O'Brien and Worf are fighting in the background too. They're
right.
there, right?
Said they're there, you know. They're
'Cause
off
it's
screen.
funny. It's
They're
funny.
off yeah, they're off screen
They're off
in the
screen,
deleted scene.
right? But it's funny because I like in Trials and Tribulations in a Deep Space Nine episode before the fight starts, and someone says, "Well, what about that group of Klingons over there?" And someone's like, "Group of Klingons
It's like,
where?"
Klingons where?
And they're like, "Hey, Worf,
Said
what?"
Worf,
And
and
he's like,
they're kind of
"We,
looking at
we,
Worf
we
as
don't we
like,
don't we don't we don't talk about that
we don't mention that.
because they don't have. We know in the original Star Trek they didn't have the forehead ridges
Yeah,
and
and it was kind of
all this.
not sure how to fully address it, you know. And I guess
Not
at the
until
time,
Enterprise.
yeah,
Not
not
until
till
Enterprise.
Enterprise to kind of say, oh, well, this is why, because they modified themselves to look human, so they could infiltrate.
Right. Yep. There was a reason for it, but until that
Yes.
point, Klingons in the original series were mostly played by dirty white people with like dirt rubbed on
Mm.
their face,
Yes.
wearing shiny black and silver uniforms. But
And
vaguely reminiscent of what they wear in later series. They didn't have like the boots
vaguely,
with the horns on them,
yeah,
but like
they
the
did
the, the
have
shoulder thing that Worf wears was reminiscent of those uniforms.
right, and the uniforms then were just kind of plain. The boots were plain, but you can kind of see where it evolved and everything from that, But and here's the thing, another thing that, and you can see clearly kind of what they do is when it comes to different, aliens, as far as when Vulcans or Romulans, the eyebrows tend to be kind of pointy, you know, and more like in a V type of thing,
Right.
eyebrows.
Hmm.
Whereas the Klingons, sort of the same thing, but they seem to have more of like a almost like a Fu Manchu style beard, like all of them.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But it's like
Yeah. I want to say that, like, other
it's
than
weird.
Kang, who was played by Michael and Sarah and was of Syrian descent,
Mm-hmm.
is one of the few actors to portray Klingons in the original series. It wasn't a white guy with just dirt rubbed on his face.
Right. Yeah.
It's like Star Trek 6. Only top of the line models can even talk. That's racist.
Ding.
Ding. We are only honoring you, Cinema Sins. We are not
So
stealing
we
your
love
gimmick.
you.
We are only honoring you.
So we love you, Cinema Sins. We love you. Love
We
love it.
love you.
Love it.
Cinema wins too. Cinema wins too. Because I've been itching to use this
Mhm.
response sometime. There's a scene at the beginning of Red Dead Redemption 2 when they're riding to the new camp and a wheel falls off a wagon and you got to get off and you got to repair it. And there's a little bit of talk. And at one point, the main character says, R3 says, well, I'm just saying. And Jose is like, yeah, well, say less. I'm, and the cinema wins guy laughs. He's like, "Why have I never responded to that sentence in that way before?" Like
so
I'm just burning
I
inside
will
to
say
say that.
less.
Right. Right now I am Kara Thrace in the brig, and Apollo's asking me, "Why are you in here for?" She's like, "For striking a superior asshole." And he's like, "You've been waiting all day to say that, haven't you?" She's like, "Well, most of the
Said
afternoon."
most.
Now Niles
Right.
Barris is worried that the Klingons might mess with the grain. We're back to the grain, and Kirk is
So
doing
yeah.
this dressing
So
down of the officers. Who threw the first punch? Who started the
so
fight?
who did it?
Kirk of all people, chastising others
Over
for throwing
starting a fight.
hands. For throwing hands. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially throwing hands with the Klingons. So it's like, really? You
Really?
this this what we're doing? This is what we're doing.
I, I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I have a love hate relationship with the Avatar movies. They are fucking
Mm.
beautiful.
Yes.
Absolutely
Agreed.
beautiful movies. And the stories are kind of fun, even if, the first one is just Last Samurai, Dances with Wolves, White Savior. It's, Last of the
Hmm.
Mohicans. It's White Savior syndrome bullshit.
Right.
Um, but there's a scene in the second movie, The Way of Water, when one of Jake's sons gets into a fight and Jake has to give him a dressing down. But then as his son's starting to walk away, he looks over and he says, "Hey, what the other ones look like?" And this kid's like, "Worse." He's like, "Good." That's how Kirk should have been. Like, who did
Yeah.
it? Oh, you did it? All right. Well, you're confined to quarters. What the other guy look like, though?
So did you win?
Did you win?
How bad you fuck
Like,
him up?
you're going to get in trouble. You might as well have won the fight.
So yeah. So how bad you fuck him up? You got to send him to hospital? My boy. That's my boy. That's my son.
Right.
Yes.
Now I got Sean Connery in my brain. He sends one of yours to the hospital. You send one of his to the morgue. Like, gee.
Yeah, see? You send one of ours to the hospital, send two of theirs to the morgue, see?
It's, oh my God. We can make a reference to anything on this show.
Oh, absolutely. Because there's just so much out there. I mean, billions of people make so much content for over like fucking.
I know. Thank you for years and years of endless content on our part.
Yes. But
No reference is too big, no joke too petty. We
none.
will drop it all.
If we know it, we will present it to you, our audience, because why? We love you. We have nothing but love for all of you. So
Nothing but love.
that's
Nothing but fucking love for y'all.
and that's why y'all are motherfucking here. You're here for this jokes. You love this
Here,
shit.
here for the joke, she.
Yeah, see? And for the
And
for the
Detecto George
for
over in our YouTube chat.
for a
Peace.
piece
Hey,
of the
what's up,
action, see?
George? He came here to get a piece of the
George
action, see?
George here for the piece of action, see? Because he's having trouble with Tribbles, see?
And now we have some trouble with Tribbles because Dr. McCoy is starting to notice there's so many of them.
There's
They're eating all the food on the ship.
there's quite a lot of them,
They're eating all our food, man.
then all of a sudden they're eating all our food, and then what ends up happening is that Nils all of a sudden is screaming at Kirk. Kirk, what the fuck, man? And Kirk is like, hey, the hell is your fucking problem, man? And these little
Yeah,
pieces of shit ate all my goddamn wheat. You son of a
right,
bitch.
right. By the time Kirk and Spock or McCoy and Spock make this revelation, it's already too late. The grain is gone.
Right?
The Tribbles are like, ugh. I mean,
They're all full. Some of them already dying because, there's no more food.
ah. And Kirk is like, we
Yep.
should check the grain storage. We should go check the grain
Check
storage.
your grain storage and then
And is
and then
in what is one of the most iconic scenes
hilarious scenes ever.
in all of Star Trek, the original series. They
Yep.
open the door to the grain storage.
And Kirk gets buried. Literally buried in Tribbles.
Buried in them. Buried in them. And we laugh because
Yeah, so we left.
it's like he got like a random after he's buried in this pile of them, there's like one just falling out
That
every so often,
just random ones
right?
that just keep falling.
And the funny thing is, they retconned that in the episode Trials and Tribulations of Deep Space Nine. It's actually Dax and Cisco in the granary looking for the Tribble with the bomb in it. And like, not this one, and throwing it, not this one, and throwing it. And they're throwing them out the door. And these are the ones that are landing on Kirk's head. Love it.
And
I fucking
here's the
love it.
thing.
Ah.
And I'm looking here on IMDb,
Mm-hmm.
and it says here, when it talks about that scene, it says the scene in which Kirk is buried in an avalanche of tribbles took 8
Avalanche.
takes to get right. The
Oh my
tribbles
God.
were
Can you imagine being the stagehand that had to keep packing them into that little compartment every time they had
okay.
to redo the take?
Well, here's the thing.
All
Here's the
right,
thing.
George and Bob, we're gonna need you to pick up all these little stuffed animals and put
What?
them back up in there. And
It said the tribbles were thrown into the hatch by members of the production crew. The crew members were not sure when to stop because they were unable to see the scene. That's why additional tribbles kept falling on Kirk one by one.
oh, but they retconned it
But
with
they
being
retconned it because
Cisco and Dax.
so
That's
that yeah,
fantastic.
that's
That's
why
fantastic.
you get the one random one instead of just
That
all of
is
them just
absolutely fantastic.
when you
I
open
love
it
it.
up and they just all just kind of plow out how it should
Mm-hmm.
be.
Mm-hmm.
And see, and it says here William Shatner can be seen looking perplexed as to why more keep falling on him. He's confused, and that's why.
Well, that's good because then his confusion was actually
So yeah,
genuine.
it's actually it's like
He's not acting there. He's
yeah,
genuinely like,
he's
what the
genuinely
fuck?
confused. It's like what the fuck is this?
What the fuck, man? What's going on? Like, and you can see
And
he's
here's the thing,
genuinely getting annoyed too, because one will
yeah,
hit him in the head, and he's like,
son of a bitch, it's a son of a bitch. And you're thinking it's like, okay, if you were in his spot and you were a captain of a starship and
right,
if
right,
you were
yeah,
Kirk, how
absolutely.
would you? How this is how Kirk would be? Is like, God, another. Where the hell are these coming from?
Where the hell are they coming from? But then a very important revelation is made. Spock picks one up, and he's like, Captain,
Like
this
this
Tribble is
one,
dead.
yeah, he keeps picking
It's
Tribble
dead,
for life.
Jim.
He said, "This one's dead. This one's dead. Well, this one's alive. This one's dying." But
Right, they're
then,
dead or dying. Yeah.
yeah, so
It's
then they
probably a good
realize,
thing because we learn that that the grain has been poisoned, and we don't want people eating that.
right? And so, how did the grain get poisoned? You may ask. Well, it was the Klingons. Klingons up to their dirty tricks. The dirty tricks to eliminate all of the Federation. So, or at least, the ones that ate that grain. So,
Right.
yeah,
Exactly. And and then all of a sudden Kirk's just he's being badgered by Barris, by like Koloth, we demand an apology. We demand an apology. You need to do this. You need to do that. But then Barris's assistant, who we met earlier in the episode, Arn Darvin, you don't really
Mm-hmm.
think much of him at the moment. You're just like, it's
Yeah,
just a guy. He's
he's
kind of
just a dude.
weaselly little corporate dude, whatever.
Yeah,
But he
just a
walks into the room
and tribbles go off.
and the Tribbles are like, fuck that shit.
Say, hey, hey,
The
there's
fuck is
something's
he
up with
doing
this
here?
dude. Something's up with this dude. And then Kirk is like, well, seems like there's a little bit of a problem here. And then he goes to everybody and says, no, it's fine. Goes to another guy, it's fine. Goes to a Klingon, well, okay. Then he goes to another member of the crew, that's fine. Then he goes to the assistant. Oh, makes the same noise as the Klingon. So
Now we know that Darvin
now
is
we
a
know.
Klingon in disguise.
Bum, 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 bum,
We
bum,
won't know
bum.
how he did that until a few years later when the episodes of Enterprise come out, which explain why Klingons of the era did not have
The
cranial ridges and stuff like that. But he's in
yeah.
disguise, and he admits to having poisoned the grain. But
So
one thing
yeah.
I wanted to mention we missed is during that fight scene when people are flying all over tables left and right and stuff. Cyrano Jones is just kind of like sneaking around, taking a drink,
Oh
having a drink
yes,
here.
yes. I
Like
forgot
he's
about
just like
that.
he's having a ball while everyone's
He's
getting fight. He's holding his drinks up as people go flying by him. He's like,
he's just enjoying the whole thing because it's like, yeah, let me get this drink right here. Hold up. Oh,
but we're to a point where he Kirk actually makes one of the quotes that George said over in the YouTube chat. Is like, I don't care if it takes every man we have. I want these things off the ship. He demands Cyrano Jones is going to have to clean up all of the tribbles on the station that Spock estimates will take 17.9 years.
yeah. It's a lot of goddamn troubles. It's a lot of goddamn troubles.
That's a lot of tribbles. But even when Kirk goes back to the Enterprise, and of course he checks his seat to make sure he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
sit on one this time, and God, he's
Of
all
course.
proud of himself. Like, you got rid of the whole kit and caboodle. And you can check the engine room, but there'll be no trouble at all. Which brings up a good point
Yeah.
because Kirk wants to know where they were. And at first he assumes that Scotty beamed them into space. And
Right.
he's like, not a
Said,
fucking monster, man.
no. What the hell's wrong with
God.
you, man? No.
But the question is he a monster? Because he did beam them over to the Klingon ship.
Of course. Yeah. So
And if
we only
you
have to assume.
if you are a fan of Star Trek and to the point where you dig deep into the extra levels, maybe not the canon stuff, but I don't know if it's canon or not, but it is largely believed that the Klingons wiped out the entire species of tribbles. In fact, they went to the tribble homeworld and bombarded the surface until every living thing was dead.
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me because of how much they hated Tribbles. Just and it's because of
Yeah,
the
let's
high
see.
pitched because of the high pitched squeal that they made, and it was damaging their hearing, and because they are bred for warriors, bred for combat, so their hearing has to be kind of a little bit better than normal. Sort of like an echolocation type of thing as well. So, in case they can't see, at least they'll be able to hear where their opponent is at. That type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they would not be able to hide from Klingons, but Google AI states that in Star Trek, the Klingon Empire viewed Tribbles as an ecological menace and actively eradicated them, going as so far as to destroy their homeworld and deploy numerous warriors to track them down. Klingons considered Tribbles an ecological plague, citing their rapid reproduction rate, potential harm to spread throughout the galaxy like a disease. The Klingon Empire sent hundreds of warriors to track them down. and destroy Tribbles, ultimately culminating in an armada obliterating the Tribble homeworld.
God damn.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm assuming some of them survived. I mean, you do see in there one or two in Star Trek 3, the search for Spock in the little
Mm-hmm.
bar
Yeah.
when McCoy goes to meet that,
Mm-hmm.
I here am new. Welcome. The Yoda talking dude with all the funky piercings.
Yeah. It wasn't it in was it Discovery? Discovery? I think it was Discovery. When this is after they went 1,000 years into the future, and one of them had a tribble, but it was neutered. It was actually like a neutered tribble.
Neutered Tribble. I didn't know you could
Yeah.
neuter Tribbles, but I mean, you do make the claim, spay and neuter your Tribbles. I don't know if they're male or female, or they just like, spontaneously
As in, and
sexually
again,
produced or what have you. But
that's another thing about it is like, are they, is it, are they male? Are they female? Are they, both? Are they, just kind of like, asexual and just kind of just reproduce just because that's just it is. I mean, what? When do they, if they eat something, and that fuels them to basically make babies, and just
right?
kind of like a whole reproductive thing that goes on with
Well, like a
the sex. I don't
gremlin,
know.
you drop a few drops of water on it, and it's just like it's just they start popping off.
Yeah, just everywhere. You know what I mean?
That that's a good point though to bring up, George. I appreciate that. The episode Apocalypse Rising. I'm assuming, given the characters you're listing, that that's the name of a Deep Space Nine episode. I don't know the names of every one, but says that Brian, Odo, and Cisco infiltrate the Klingon homeworld and find out from
Mm-hmm.
Worf that the Tribbles created an ecological menace on Kronos. So,
Huh.
good to know.
All right.
Tribbles did
Cool.
appear in the Enterprise episode The Breach when Dr. Phlox brought a small number on board as food for his pets.
Dr. Phlox. And
Captain Lorca had a pet Tribble that he kept in his ready room in Discovery. Aboard the
so
same
yeah.
starship in 2257, Ensign Tilly told
Mm-hmm.
Michael Burnham that she would begin to cry like a baby Tribble in the kill zone. The Tribbles do make another appearance, and we'll talk about this one in the future as well on the animated series on the episode More Tribbles, More Troubles.
Oh, yeah. So
I
the
remember that
tribbles.
episode now, George.
So
Yes, when Oda was talking about the songs of the Great Tribble Hunt.
oh my god. It's
Yeah.
oh my god. Every time, I always get a giggle out of every time. You get an episode that has tribbles in it. It's just like, you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here for
Everybody
all of it.
loves
I'm
tribbles.
always here
And
for it.
I have always wanted one. There are certain things that I would like to collect as far as like stuffed animals go. And I have always
Mm-hmm.
wanted
A tribble?
my own stuffed tribble.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even went to as far as thinking I could probably make one. I just need to go buy some like shag fabric and stuff it into a ball. I mean, how hard can it be?
Probably not that much. I don't know.
I do miss my stuffed Ewok that I had when I was 11 years old or 12 years old, whatever it was when how old, yeah, I would have been 12 when Return of the Jedi came out, 86. And my mom bought
Saying,
me a stuffed Ewok. I missed it. I love my little
is it Ewoks? Say, look here. Ewoks Ewoks are fucked up in their own. The
What is the USS Protostar? What is that?
USS Protostar. Oh,
Apparently, it was a ship that Chakotay served on because it says here on Memory Alpha that during the USS Protostar's resupply mission
yeah.
to find bosonite on the M class on an M class planet, Captain Chakotay and his crew found large tribbles with teeth called Omega tribbles.
Oh, this is the ship that was on Prodigy.
Okay, on Prodigy. Okay.
Yeah, start on Prodigy. It was the latest animated one, latest animated Star Trek, and yeah, that was Chakotay ship that he was captain. You know, after Voyager got back, he got promoted, has his ship. It was Protostar, yeah, and
I would love a tribble, George. I would love one. Cute and fuzzy and doesn't reproduce because I don't need 5,000 of
so
them or
right.
5 million of them. Um, the attack tribbles from Picard on Daystrom Station when they were invading Daystrom Station to what were they going after? Because that was when we saw like Kirk's remains and cold storage, and Moriarty was the security system. But were they going for
Mm.
lore or before or something's body? Because they were trying to recover data. I'm gonna have to go back and watch
Was
season
going for
right now.
something to do with lore.
Right, because remember,
Yeah,
Data
because
kind of was rebuilt, and he kind of had that internal conflict with
yeah,
Lore, and he
between
had to
lore
overcome him.
himself and lore, and then
Hmm.
essentially is like he basically gave lore everything that lore wanted, and then he ended up just like, you know what, gave everything lore wanted, and then became lore.
Right, right. But
Essentially,
yeah, there's that
that type of
scene when
thing.
that Tribble thing jumps up on the glass, and Riker's like, "Oh, it's an attack Tribble." Like, and it's got like it's pressed up against the glass. It's got all these like three mouths with all these sharp teeth, and like, holy,
It's like Jesus Christ, Jesus
don't
Christ,
ever let those out.
never. It's like, Jesus Christ.
You thought the movie Gremlins or Critters was bad?
Said
Holy cow!
said Tribbles. Shit.
And then, of course, they made an appearance in Star Trek Into Darkness when McCoy used Khan's blood and injected it into a dead Tribble and brought it back to life. No,
Yes,
this is
because
not.
that's how medicine works.
This is not.
That's exactly how medicine works.
That's how medicine works. Yeah, I know. There was a
We'll just take his
cereal
blood and
called
shoot it in the
Trib.
hitter.
There was a cereal called Tribbles.
Everybody loves Tribbles.
Everybody loves
Everybody
Tribbles.
loves Tribbles. Oh my god.
Or
Yeah.
maybe it was just a parody commercial because it says the cereal commercial was presented in a post-credit scene of one of the Star Trek short treks episodes. So maybe that was just a joke. I hope it's a joke. I hope it's a joke. I don't need tribbles.
Oh, it's a joke.
Not that I would be surprised. I mean, you and I are both children of the 80s. They would make a cereal out of any property
Of
whatsoever that had
course.
any kind of traction whatsoever.
It, we grew up with during the time of Mr. T cereal. Okay.
Mr. T cereal. My God, I remember that too. I remember the commercials for it.
Mm-hmm.
You
So
know, I know
Mr.
you're a
T.
big wrestling fan. Do you remember the Saturday morning card, like the one it was the Hulk Hogan Power Hour or whatever it was?
Yep.
Remember that? That was
Hulk Hogan rock and roll wrestling.
rock and roll wrestling. Thank you. Because it had Junkyard Dog on it. It had Andre the Giant, Roddy Piper. I mean,
I got watched it and I distinctly remember this. because I never watched it again because I watched like one episode of it and I was like, what is going on?
What's happening here?
What is happening?
What is happening? Nobody knew what
I
was
didn't know
happening.
what was going on with that cartoon.
Oh my God. There were some bad ones because we've talked about these before, I think. Like there were some other cartoons that really just didn't hit the mark the way they wanted it to. The Nintendo Power Hour on Saturday
Uh,
mornings with like the bumbling Simon Belmont and Samus Aran from Metroid or just I don't even think
no,
Samus was in the show. It was just
it was just
a
Mother Brain.
talking Metroid. Oh, Mother Brain. That's right. It was Mother
Yeah.
Brain. And she was like, she reminded me of Krang from TMNT. Like this just
Yeah. It's like, right. And the bumbling Simon Belmont, the Mega Man that looks like a just
secret
no
level. We've already talked
doesn't
about this. Secret
doesn't
level
look
did
like
a
Mega Man.
7 minute Mega Man episode that was better than any episode of that television show.
Oh my god, yes. That 7 minute just
I still get
it's
chills
still
watching it.
it's still better than in every Mega Man cartoon in the 90s. Sorry. Better than those cartoons in the 90s. And I watched them all,
Mhm.
just from the regular Mega Man to the Mega Man NT and all that.
Super Mario Brothers show that you
Mm-hmm.
waited all week long because on Fridays they'd have the Legend of Zelda
Legend of Zelda,
episodes.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
tried watching those on Amazon Prime. I could not get 5 minutes into the first episode. I'm like, this is terrible. Link is an idiot.
Oh my god,
And
yeah.
I'm not even one to scream woke stuff. I don't mind strong female characters, but I mean, like, I thought Link was the hero. Why is Zelda the hero? Why shouldn't she, I mean, it's called Legend of Zelda. Maybe she should, she should be the one out there with the sword doing the stuff. He should be rescuing his dumbass.
Right? And again, on that one, they should have just never let Link talk. Just never let him
No,
talk. You
Link
know.
only Link doesn't speak. He knows one word. Yeah,
Or what?
right. He grunts and screams. He doesn't talk. In fact, there was somebody, I don't know if I think they're either on Blue Sky or on Twitter at one point. I remember they're like, I don't remember their screen name, but they're obviously it had something to do with Link, and that's their image is an image of Link. And when they would make tweets or something, and then when anyone would respond to them, their comment was always "Hyah" to everything people said. They would just say "Hyah," HYAH, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
And George, that's pretty clever with the Teddy Ruxpin thing. But while I did not hate the Ewoks like a lot of people did, I really wish Lucas would have had the budget to do what he wanted to originally. That battle would have made more sense if it was an army of Wookiees and not Ewoks.
Yeah,
Wookiees have fucked some shit up.
that is true. Yes,
And
absolutely.
they
And don't.
they
And
don't
here's the
I
thing:
don't they don't need to
Ewoks.
do the Tarzan yell.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and we're doing a Tarzan yell. Like,
They know Tarzan. Yeah, they know
didn't know
Tarzan.
Tarzan reached out that far.
I understand Wilhelm has got some reach across multiple universes and genres, but I mean, the famous
Mm.
Wilhelm scream that you hear
The
in like movies all over the
so
place.
yeah,
But
the
but Tarzan,
ah, but
yeah,
Tarzan, come on,
Tarzan,
come on,
really,
man, come on,
really.
man. Uh, And the Ewoks are fucked up as well, because I mean, here's these little, these little dwarves, or I don't know. Is it proper to say midget? I don't know. Little people, things. I don't know. By the way, they're little fucking cannibals. These little assholes, they're little fucking cannibals. And you see, and Return of the Jedi, when it came to Princess Leia, they were about one of them was about to one of them was about to have some babies with Leia.
Yeah, they were dirty little bastards.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
They were dirty little bastards. But hey,
Oh,
I mean,
little
Warwick
people.
Davis played Wicket in the third movie and in Return of the Jedi, and reprised multiple roles. He was in Solo. He was in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
I mean, he was in
yeah.
all kinds of. He's been all across Star Trek stuff, and I don't mind the movie Willow. It's fine. It's not one of my favorite fantasy movies, but I enjoyed it. The series was positively a bore.
I saw it, but I don't remember it.
I don't remember it either. I just know I was bored.
I
And
don't
and and,
remember it at
and
all. I don't.
some of Disney's recent shows just aren't hitting the mark for me. I mean, I was really kind of excited to see Percy Jackson do well, but it didn't. It was boring. It was boring.
I haven't seen Percy Jackson. That's on my list to watch. And
Okay.
just because, it just because. That's why. I know it's not. Um, for me, the movies are okay. You know,
The
I haven't
first
read
one
the.
was good, decent. I didn't like the second one.
You know, I understand it's a series of books. I'm sure the books are
The books were good. I
infinitely
like the
better.
books. Hmm.
I'm sure the books were better. I've not read the books, but the movie was like, it was okay, but I'm pretty sure the books were way better. The series, I heard this about the series coming out, and I was like, because of the movie, I wasn't really too excited about it. I mean, it's a cool concept to it, uh, have Son of Poseidon, being hidden out in the real world.
Yeah, I mean, it
Get
was
this
it
and get
was it
that.
was
It's
another
like,
it was another, like we seem to get these kind of things in groups. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
remember when um remember when Armageddon came out, but like in the same summer, so did Deep Impact.
yeah, yeah.
Like, so
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, same thing. Somebody of
Same.
special mythological birthright gets taken off to camp where they become, trained in demigodism or wizardry, or
They
you
become
know,
the
we
they become
we
all so
even had
powerful, and the same thing with like the fucking Divergent and Hunger Games. Though,
Divergent and Hunger Games,
yeah.
very similar in their own post-apocalyptic worlds where we're trapped in these cities, and an oppressive
Mm-hmm.
government has divided us into districts or clans or guilds or whatever. What was it in Divergent? I can't
It
remember.
was
Just houses. It wasn't houses. It was
was it? Is District? No.
not districts. That was Hunger Games. There were 13 districts in Hunger Games. Remember that?
Oh God.
Maze Runner. Thank you,
Maze
George.
Runner.
There's
Yeah.
another one. Yeah. These post-apocalyptic teen dramas. I just remember that whatever it was in Divergent, you had Dauntless, Abnegation, Candor,
Class. Was it classes?
um, Erudite.
Oh my God. I want to say they're called like class something. Dauntless class. Like Dauntless class. Different classes.
Yeah, that's what I'm checking to see. Let's see. First film. Okay, what the plot here? In a world where
Yeah.
people are divided into factions. Factions
Faction.
was the
Okay.
word. I knew. Yep. Thank you, George. Yep. I found it on Google just as you said it. So yeah, factions. Factions is the word. But yeah, I mean, everything seems to come out. I mean, we can even go back to the 80s, like, Gremlins came out, was popular, but then we had
Right.
Critters and Ghoulies, and I mean, like a whole bunch of them
Yeah.
that came out at once, that went on and on. Gremlins
Oh
only
my
had
god.
two, but I mean, like Ghoulies and Critters had like three, 4 or 5 movies.
Like I remember seeing like 5 ghoulies. I don't remember any more than that, but
Yeah,
I'm
there
like,
were a few. There were a few of them. Yeah, I mean, just yeah. I
and that
want to, and
would
I want to say Divergence, the one series that didn't get to complete itself.
no.
They got
It
through the first 3 movies, and then they were gonna split the second one into 2 movies, but then they decided to make it a TV series, and
it just didn't.
the actress said no.
Yeah.
Shailene Woodley, she said, "No, fuck
She
that.
said
If you're not
no.
gonna make a movie, I'm not doing it."
Yeah. Let's see.
Never saw a Puppet
Divergent.
Master.
Divergent was the only one that didn't quite hit right. Didn't quite hit the mark that it
I
was.
liked the first
It was
movie. The
intended.
second two just kind of lost me.
I see. I
I
haven't
like the
seen the
first
second
one.
two. I haven't seen the second. I only saw the first one.
Yeah, this you don't want to
And
see the second and third one. And I don't know if I love the movie or if I just have a crush on Theo James.
that's
God,
fair.
what a beautiful man.
That's fair. That's fair.
It also had Zoe Kravitz in it, so I mean, I'm always gonna be here for Zoe.
Mm, yeah.
You know, thank you for doing a wonderful Catwoman, by the way, in the Batman. That was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah,
that.
that's
I
good.
knew that
Yeah.
Georgia didn't. I knew that Ghoulies was a parody of something or other, kind of a dig
Yeah.
at or a play, a pun, a parody, something or other. It was not meant to be taken seriously, but it got popular. You know what? Do you remember the movie? Was it Kroll?
Crawl. Um, that's the one with the giant, almost like star, ninja star type of thing.
No, not Kroll. Kroll,
No.
like internet troll. You got this
Troll.
family that moves into an
Oh,
apartment
I've heard.
building,
I'm not seeing it. I
and the
do
little
know what you're talking
girl
about now. I do know
she
what you're talking
befriends a
about. Yeah.
little person who lives in the building who's actually like some mythological elf or something, but there's an evil
Yeah.
troll that's like turning the building into a mystical forest, and her and this little man have to fight against
But Jesus
the
Christ.
troll.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now on IMDb. So no, I remember seeing it. Well, seeing this in Blockbuster.
I saw it on TV, I think, or maybe even
It's like, okay.
1986.
I
Then there
do
were the
remember seeing it,
Leprechaun
and
movies. What? I want to say
oh my god, the
Jennifer
Leprechaun movies.
Aniston was in one of those Leprechaun movies. That was one of her like
Shoot,
first on-screen appearances.
yeah, the very first Leprechaun that was Jennifer Aniston pre nose job,
Right. Creed knows
pre
John.
nose job Jennifer Aniston.
Sonny Bono was in Troll.
Sonny Bono, Jesus
Sonny
Christ,
Bono. And Noah Hathaway of Atreyu fame from
never
Neverending
ending
Story,
story.
and also played Boxy in the original Battlestar Galactica. Leprechaun was Warwick Davis. I knew that, but that was more of a horror film series.
Yeah, and I like Leprechaun. I like the
I've
first
never
one.
seen any of them.
It's an interesting take on it. It's essentially like one of those. It is a horror, but it's like you find the leprechaun's gold, and the leprechaun will give you 3 wishes,
Mm-hmm.
but leprechaun will try to kill you first before kill you and take his gold back before he gives you wishes.
Right. Yeah.
Because
Definitely.
leprechaun does not want to grant wishes; he just wants his gold back. But if you find a way to keep him from his gold, he'll grant a wish in order for you to give him his gold back. But he will kill you first before he ever gives you a wish.
Right. Yeah. I mean, wow. There's just I'm still looking at the lineup for frickin' Troll. Noah Hathaway, Sonny Bono, Julia Louise Dreyfus, June Lockhart.
Oh my god! Like that's
What? And here's the funny thing, the plot, right? The
all right.
Potter family, Harry Potter Sr. and Ann Potter with their teenage son, Harry Potter Jr.
Miss,
Joanne,
Mr.
you ripped
Potter,
off Troll, didn't you? You ripped off fucking Troll.
Mr. Potter,
You ripped off Troll and became a troll.
as Mr. Potter,
Harry Potter?
Harry Potter, Mr. Potter.
God, no.
Oh my god! Yeah.
This is crazy.
Oh my god! Yeah, Troll. I remember seeing this Ghoulies. I remember seeing. Oh, this was during the time growing up. These were part of the string of movies that I looked at. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna watch this shit. Not because I'm not scared or anything like that. It's just because I know this is a bad movie. I can tell by the cover. This is a bad fucking movie.
Thank you. George Ann Lockhart played Sheba on Battlestar Galactica. I did not know that. Look at that. See,
Oh,
we've already got 2 Battlestar Galactica actors, an actor and actress in Kroll. Both of them are still alive. I guess Noah Hathaway, he's like a tattoo artist slash musician now. He's roughly my age, like 51, 52 years old. But
oh, okay.
that sounds about right. Because he was 8 or 10 when BSG came out. I was about close to that age, maybe a year or 2 younger. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Um. Oh my god. I forgot. I almost forgot all about Neverending Story. And
fantastic movie. I love that movie.
oh yeah. Ah, I
Everybody
love the
loves
movie.
that movie.
And what? What is it?
Doggy needs attention.
Yes. Oh no. All right. All right. You got 30 minutes. It's not even time yet. Do you need to go outside? You need some attention. She needs some attention.
Of course, they always do.
Give me a second. Let me
I
get it. Let me let her inside so we can
do your
do a
thing.
2-for-1 on this one.
Do your thing. Yeah. Funny story for those watching last night. I don't usually let my dog sleep with me, but last night I left my door open when I went to bed. And in the middle of the night, my dog came into my bedroom like a fucking ninja and jumped on the bed in the middle of the night when I was sleeping. I fucking woke up screaming because I'm just not used to having someone else in bed with me. I mean, my
So,
dog, he's got his own bed. I just don't let him sleep with me. And I left my door open and oh my
and
God,
then scared the shit out of you.
I was almost not here today. I almost had a fucking massive coronary right there in my bedroom at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I can imagine that would. I'd have had an accident. I'd have had an accident.
Yeah. And the
I'd had to
crazy thing
clean
is
some.
like, I
Someone had to be.
don't,
Someone had to go in the
I,
washing machine.
right. Unfortunately, I didn't there. And the good thing is, I don't actually own any firearms anymore. I did have one. I recently gave it back to my father because I'm moving to Massachusetts and their gun control laws are much more stringent than in
Mm.
Ohio when you can just tuck that shit in your waistband and walk through Walmart with it. Nobody gives a fuck. I mean, you can sling your AR-15 over your
Yeah.
shoulder and go to Wendy's and no one will look twice at you here. Maybe in Columbus because we're a pretty gay liberal city here, but you
Any
know
place else?
you want to go to anywhere else in Ohio that's not one of the three C's, the three big cities, you can walk into, you can go to Hobby Lobby and Joann Fabrics with your chain gun strapped over your shoulder,
Look
looking like
here.
Marcus Phoenix straight out of Gears of War. I mean,
Yeah, damn. Look here, just everybody just they just carry it with them in their car or in their truck. Some of them they carry it on them, because they got to conceal, but no
well, we
place,
did
none of the places have like posted outside. Can't bring anything in, and even if they did, people here wouldn't give a fuck anyways.
probably not. Yeah, and you're in another one of those places. But I mean, like, I don't like
Mm-hmm.
to make this show really political, but I mean, it does beg the question. I've been asking this for years. When that shooter killed all those people in that Walmart in Texas,
Uh huh.
I mean, I've said this before. They've got more guns than Jesus down there. Where the fuck were all the good guys with the gun when this dude was running through Walmart having a fucking, starting a bloodbath? I'm just
That is a
curious.
good
I'm just
question.
asking.
That's a good question.
I, I'm just asking. But, we've got about 30 minutes left, and we did bring up something. We were trying to decide what was our second topic going to be. And it's really been kind of digging at me now in the back of my head is our favorite realistic sci-fi movies. And I think we need to talk a little bit about Interstellar and Contact right now because they are fucking fantastic movies. I've actually been
Absolutely.
trying to find Contact streaming somewhere, and there's nowhere that I can watch it that you don't have to pay for it right now.
You know what? I have I have contact as an actual, video
DVD.
thing. I will send it to you.
I, Let me check first. I might have a copy of it. I'm not sure. I just don't really like to use my PlayStation right now for watching DVDs just because it's so old. I'm just waiting for it to crap on me. But let me check
Oh no.
first and see. But
Was it this one's is it an MP4?
oh,
Is it
okay.
an MP4? I think it's
Yeah,
an
that's probably
MP4.
something you could just share on a Google Drive, and
Yeah.
I can.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
talking
on
about.
that
Yeah. Oh
case,
yeah.
definitely.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
that's what
been
I'm
a while. I
talking
mean,
about.
I
Yeah.
know the movie. I've read the book. I'm very familiar with it. I mean, you want to talk about the author of Contact again, the late great Mr. Carl Sagan, rest in peace, sir. Um, that fucking book starts with Ellie's birth. Like she's coming out the vagina on page one.
Hey,
That
you
dude
got to
got
start
into
from the
detail
beginning.
about her life. He started from the goddamn beginning, from where, like, and
You got to start from the beginning.
goes through her whole life. Now, obviously, in the movie, they have to condense it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, of course, you have to fast forward. You know, the birth and going to school and all of that. You got to fast forward to the good part.
Yeah, and I mean,
And
I loved oh, who was it? Who played her dad? I loved the David Morse played her dad, Ted, in the movie. I loved the relationship that the two of them
mhm.
had
Oh
between
yeah.
the even just the chemistry that both him and Jodie Foster had in that role between the radio scenes
Yeah.
and the paintings that she was doing and the astronomy, the meteor shower scene when he's like getting the
Mhm.
popcorn, but then, sadly he dies. But Jake Busey was in
Yep.
that movie. The not so crazy Busey
Yes.
of
The
Starship Troopers fame.
the younger one, not the older one.
Not the older one, the younger
Said the
one. Yeah,
son,
from
not
Starship
not
Troopers.
not his dad.
Um,
Yeah. To do.
I don't like this actor at all. I do like the role he played in this movie, but I mean, we've got James the Psycho Woods, James the Psycho MAGA Woods in this movie, who's often credited the fall of his career
Mm-hmm.
to his support of Donald Trump. Well, that's your own fucking fault, man.
Said that's your own fault. You fucked up. Just
Jenna
saying.
Malone played the young Eleanor or Ellie Arroway. She was also in, or not Divergent, Hunger Games 2
Mm-hmm.
as one of the
And hey, man, Ed.
competitors.
Yeah, let me see. I think we both have an obsession with Matthew McConaughey.
A little bit,
Cause
because he's in
he was in
he's
both.
in both of these
Yeah.
movies. Yes, he was Palmer Joss. He was the preacher, sort of like the negative, the other side of the coin to
Right.
Ellie's scientific atheist character. And then, he was the fighter pilot engineer turned farmer turned
Right.
fighter pilot again, or pilot again, when he was
So
chosen in Interstellar to pilot the mission to the foreign galaxy. Yes, Tom Skerritt was in that, of Alien
Tom's
fame.
yes.
I love
So
Tom Skerritt. He was an asshole in that character as David Drumlin, but he played the role well. I don't hate the actor.
said
He's like the guy who played the U.S. agent from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
yeah.
Everybody hated him, and that guy got so much shit. Like, why?
Said
Because he did his
Russell
job.
Wyatt.
He did his job well.
Said Russell Wyatt.
Russell Wyatt.
Yeah. And here's the things that and totally agree. Totally agree because he played the part of U.S. agent perfectly. Because in the comics, U.S. agent is just like that. He is technically a good guy, but you don't like him.
He's a good guy in the sense that, like, CIA agents and intelligence agents are good guys, but they'll
Yeah,
stab you in the back
yeah.
whether you're a friend or not. I mean,
That's what I
they're
say.
gonna do what they got to do.
That's what I say. Technically he is, but mm-mm.
Yes, but it's just funny that Matthew McConaughey
He's in both of them. It's
is
funny.
in both of these movies. That's
That's all right, all right, all
that's
right.
pretty funny. And we can't bring up Alien without mentioning John Hurt, not just because he had one of the most iconic scenes in Alien at the dinner table when the alien first burst out of his chest, but then he reprised that very scene in Spaceballs where he said famously, "Oh
Oh
no,
no,
not
not
again."
again.
But
Oh my
I'm just
god,
gonna go out
yes.
here and say this, that as far as Contact goes,
Mm-hmm.
the
Right.
character of um you can help me out here, the billionaire that does all the, like, behind the scenes stuff for Ellie,
Oh gosh.
SR
See, I'm
Haddon.
looking at.
SR Haddon from Haddon Industries.
That's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And oh gosh, who played him? I know it was another
That's
famous.
who Haddon. Yeah, that was John Hurt.
Yep, John Hurt again.
Yeah.
John Hurt, people. John Hurt. Apparently we're talking about John Hurt today. Because I mean, there are a couple of scenes in that movie that really get me, and we'll kind of go back and
Um,
forth here. I'll say one, you do one, and we can go back and forth. But the first scene that really blew me away was after she's trying to do all that stuff, and she's kind of, not able to get money, and Drumlin's taking all of her fire away, and her program's getting shut down, and she's just sitting on her car hood, and the signal comes. That scene
that.
was fucking intense.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh man, it's been a hot minute since I've seen Contact, but that scene, you know, and there's another one. It's one of my favorites, and really nothing to it, anything like that. It's just seeing them, just doing just their day to day stuff, and just kind of. I always found it fascinating, just because of the math and the formulas and everything that they would use, and trying to the physics on it and everything like that. Just before they got the signal, and just before, just that whole just kind of throwaway scene. Just seeing this, all that shit at work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And they're not
And
expecting it because the one dude's
yeah,
making stupid jokes like, "Who would make the best astronomers?" Ours. You know, that guy's just being a total goofball, and then all of a sudden they're forced into
yeah,
action
yeah.
because she's dry.
Because
They're not even hearing her at first. William Fitchner plays
yes,
her friend Kent, the blind guy, right?
Kent. Mm-hmm.
And
And
he vaguely hears her on the radio screaming coordinates, something,
mhm,
something, right ascension, something minutes,
right,
so many,
and I
seconds.
was like,
I don't
oh,
fully understand coordinates and how they work on a dome global sort of thing. I'm gonna need to look into that and learn how that works. But she's screaming off,
mm,
basically the declination and ascension of these coordinates and
yeah. And give me a second, because
go
I
take
got
care
a
of the dog.
four-legged
No
tiny
problem.
terrorist holding me hostage.
Yes, yes. There's a whole bunch of fantastic actors that were in that movie. Wow. Again, not James Woods. We don't like James Woods. Well, Yuji Okamoto was in the movie. Okumoto was in the movie, famously known for playing Chosen in the Karate Kid 2 and reprising the role in the Karate or the Cobra Kai
Oh,
series.
Cobra Kai. And
That show just
Cobra Kai.
got crazy. That show just got crazier and crazier as each season went on. I mean, and it started with a blown karate brawl in high school in the very first season.
So I at the end of the first season, when that all out karate brawl hit, I was like, really, really, like this is what we doing? We just doing drive by karate? Like, let's get to that point where now we're doing karate all in school, and then next thing you know, I'm just saying, it's like, we're gonna have drive by roundhouses. You have drive by, just gonna have drive by punches, drive by roundhouse kicks.
Right? Yeah, it's so weird. That show is just
And
fantastically ridiculous.
it's just a great guilty pleasure show. And it just
But
flew off the
but
rails.
it is. It flew off the rails. But I get one of my favorite quotes of all time from the movie Contact. And
Mm-hmm.
that's again after they built the first machine, they figure it all out. Haddon gives her the key, and crazy Jake Busey blows it up, and they think everything is over. And then he calls her on the little thing, and he's like, he does the whole "want to go for a ride" speech. But
Mm-hmm.
he says my favorite line in the whole movie. He says, "First rule of government spending: why have one when you can have two at twice the price?" And I use that a
I
lot. I use
forgot
that a lot.
about that. Yeah.
I use that a lot. I absolutely use
Oh,
that one a
Jake
lot.
Busey.
Jake
You see,
Busey.
I wonder. I kind of wonder what sometimes goes through his head when he sees his dad just say just like the crazy shit.
When his dad's talking about buttered sausage.
Right?
Like,
What do you be? What do
what
you
are you
think?
talking about, dude?
It's like,
What are you talking about?
the fuck is you talking about, Dad? Butter sausage? What the fuck is butter sausage?
Buttered sausage.
So the fuck is butter sausage?
But yeah, when it comes
But
to
yeah,
content, like I said, I love absolutely love that movie. It's just the end that kind of throws me off, just because I don't think it was
I
done as
I don't
well
think
for the
yeah
screen as it was portrayed in the book.
yeah I don't think the end was received as well. You know,
I mean, I'll
and
still watch it. I don't
oh
skip
yeah,
over that
I
part.
obviously still watch it, and you know, and again, it's one of those things where in the book, you know, you can elaborate. You know, you can kind of paint the picture better. You know, give more detail and clarification on things that are going on. Whereas in the movie, you got to kind of work with the budget that you have. So you got to kind of make cuts. You got to work
Not
around
even
stuff. You
the.
got to change things. But
I want to be clear. I'm not even attacking like the digital effects. I mean, they are the product of their time period. We're talking
yeah,
about circa 1996, 97. I know this because I was working at Applebee's at the time, and I had just gotten back from a movie with my partner of the time period. We went to see that in the theaters, and it was
okay,
the night that I got robbed. And I got home, and there was my roommate standing at the door, and the door was broken open, and the furniture was overturned, and everything was value in our apartment was gone. He had just they came in at
wow,
gunpoint and tied him up with electrical cords and threw him in the closet with his dog while they ransacked our house and took everything of value. That was cool. I'm glad I was not there. I bought my first gun the very next day. Never owned a gun before that. Never even thought about it.
yeah, that's one of those instances where
I bought a Mossberg
yeah,
590 tactical assault shotgun the very next day. Board for slugs, 8 in
yeah,
the tube, 1 in the pipe. Tragicon night
mm-hmm.
sights, full bandolier, pistol grip, folding stock, full stock. I had all the accessories. Touchpad, flashlight
Yeah.
mounted on the end of the barrel. I was ready for war.
There was one time I was working at EB Games, and it's like 98, 99, and
Mm-hmm.
the customer came in and he was just buying up a whole bunch of games and stuff. And so, just out of curiosity, me and other guy that was there just looking kind of strange, just like, because he's just buying piles of just new games, used games, and saw the looks on our faces. And he's like, yeah, having to restock my whole supply because I got robbed. It's like, oh shit, man. Sorry that happened, man. And so he started telling us about what happened, shit that everybody took. And he was saying that not only that he'd got himself the pistol and he got himself a shotgun, but he also had a guard snake.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if it was a cobra or if he got himself a rattlesnake, but he got one of those. And he was describing how he would let his snake out at night, where he would let his snake out and it stayed in this one area, and the only area is that goes into the house.
Right.
Yeah, so
Okay.
and throughout the whole thing, just thinking to myself, it's like, ain't no fucking way I'll get a guard snake. Ain't no fucking
Guard
way I'll get a
snake or
guard snake.
garden snake, garter snake. I mean, there's all
Like a guard,
George over here.
like a guard,
Like yeah, like a
like
guard dog.
like a
Yeah,
guard
like
dog,
this is my attack snake,
right?
or attack tribble.
But guard, like GUARD, like I know the way I pronounce things is ass, George. I mean, you don't have to keep reminding me of that, man. Damn. I know I mumble, man. Shit. I'm trying, George. I'm trying. I'm trying to enunciate my words. And it is guard.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, that's oh yeah.
But
Eh, but we could probably, and we may have to just say, hey, you know what? Next week we're going to have to continue to talk about Contact and Interstellar because there's so many things. I mean, one, you have two very different means of space travel in both movies, which
right,
I think
yeah,
tried to be as realistic as we possibly could, given the expanse of knowledge that we have at this currently available to us.
yeah,
I mean, Neil
yeah.
deGrasse
So
Tyson, when I was watching, we talked about this earlier, when I was watching Cinema Sins and everything that's wrong with Interstellar, and he's going, oh, that's not right. And then he's got Neil deGrasse Tyson commentary that he's using to overlap. And he's like, come on, Neil,
mhm.
tell us that this isn't correct. And then he uses this audio, and Neil's like, well, actually, this is how it would work. And he's like, damn it, Neil. So every time he says, Neil, prove
So
him
he says
wrong, prove
as a
him wrong.
sin, it's a sin. It's
Yeah.
like, well,
And then he's
actually,
and then
like,
he's going to
damn it.
take one off because he's like, "Damn you, Neil!" you know, because I mean, the Interstellar really, in the most accurate way that we can at this time period, explored relativity
Right,
and the stretching of
and
time and how it affects people traveling close to the speed of light or a black hole versus those who are stationary.
right,
So
exactly, and just not only that, how stable wormhole travel would work, and how would it look, just little things like that. And as both as different as both as the travel is, but and again, just like you said at the time, it explores our understanding of physics at the time because
right,
admittedly, during 97 when Contact came out, we had our knowledge of physics up until 1997. And that was 2014 when Interstellar came out, we have a little bit more knowledge, after,
20,
what, 27 years?
2014 is when that movie came out. That's crazy. Because I mean, yeah, to think
Yeah.
I was already separated at the time, and I wasn't really in a relationship with them yet because I was still sort of recovering from separation. But I
Mm-hmm.
was starting to hang out with who would be my future ex-fiance, and we went to see that movie together. And I remember not being
Yeah.
really excited to go see it because I was still dealing with a lot of personal stuff, and I've just gotten there. I was like, wow, this movie's fantastic. But I was already a
Yeah.
big fan of the Dark Knight trilogy. Like Christopher Nolan does not disappoint, except a
Right.
little bit with Dark Knight Rises. But and we'll get into that another day.
That's another discussion for another day.
It's another discussion for
Yeah.
another day. But yeah, I mean, I think that we could
Mhm.
definitely talk more about because I mean, one factor that I think now what scientists are sort of saying that like and this is what Contact sort of explored is that wormholes aren't something that are naturally created. They have to be created by somebody else. Like they're not naturally forming. They would
Right.
have to
Yeah.
be, in
They.
Star Trek, yes, they form naturally, but you know,
Yeah.
modern
And
science says that's not possible, that it would have to be created by somebody else.
so yeah. Yeah. And then, but still with Star Trek, they can get away with that because it's Star Trek.
It's a space opera.
It's
It's
a space.
science fantasy.
Yeah.
It's science fantasy. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
fine.
So and again, it's like 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 Contact or like Interstellar because it deals more with fact. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, it has a fictional part of spin on it, and of course, naturally, that's the objective story of the movie. But it
There are
uses like
some
actual fact in
there's
order
some
to support it.
questionable things in the movie. I mean, deGrasse Tyson said there's no way that you would have a planet that had frozen clouds. He said
I
that's
mean,
not
yeah.
something that's probably physical. The other thing is he's like, if you're any kind of decent scientist that's worth your worth your weight in salt, you would not attempt to settle on a planet that was orbiting a black hole. They would have gone
That's
to
true
Edmund's
too.
planet, period. They would not have gone to Miller's. They would not have gone to Mann's. They would have gone to Edmund's because it was not orbiting the black hole and it was outside the time
Hmm.
differential.
Yeah.
So, and that
Now
turned out to
that
be the
part,
planet you should have went to first place. Anyway,
yeah. Now that part I believe because I would immediately say, "Oh, that's a black hole." Yeah, that's not. Yeah, let's not do that.
I'm gonna. I've read articles about spaghettification.
Yeah, no.
I saw what Wanda did to Mister Fantastic. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
No, thank you.
I'm good.
I'm good. I'm gonna pass on that.
So, yeah, I
Pass.
mean, if you really want to know what goes on there, I mean, you could send a probe. You can send
And
a
I
probe
agree
with a
with you,
camera.
George. Interstellar is a lot like 2001. It is an audio and visual tour de force.
Yes. Yes.
The music is
Wholeheartedly agree.
fantastic.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Absolutely
Yes.
love the soundtrack. And there is nothing more intense than that one scene when man doesn't listen to them. He gets blown out the airlock, and then Cooper starts flying towards the thing. And well, it was either Tars or Case is like, it's not possible. And he's like, no, it's necessary. And that whole
Mhm.
docking sequence was just
Yeah.
badass. That was badass.
So it's not possible. No, it's necessary. It's like,
It's necessary. It's that or we die. We die trying or we die don't trying.
yeah.
So we
And
have a 0.1% chance we might survive this or we definitely die. I'm going with the 0.1% chance.
yeah, because it's 0.1%.
And you got robots that can fly the ship that aren't going to pass out when the G forces start nailing you.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Dr. Brand, she went out. She was out like a light. Cooper came that
So,
close.
yeah. Fuck.
And now for our next trick.
Holy shit. But yeah, that great
Great lines.
movie.
Like, I mean, just
Great.
like
It's just,
Ellie Arroway is saying, like, when she starts to cry and she's seeing what she's seeing in the pod, and she's like, they should have sent a poet. Because I, as a
mhm.
scientist, can't adequately describe what I'm seeing. They needed somebody who can see words, So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to revisit this topic again next week
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
If anything, then we could just talk next week about Contact and the week after about Interstellar.
Yep, there we go. We can do that. We'll just go
Yeah.
right through the movies because I think the movies deserve more than 30 minutes combined. And we need to
Mm.
break them down from beginning to end and just, and just show our appreciation for two of the most fantastic realistic science fiction movies out there,
Oh, yeah,
if not the
absolutely.
most,
Because,
hands down the most.
oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I'll load up the, what is it? Yeah, I'll load up Contact and I will
Okay, cool.
shoot you the link.
I would love to watch that this week while I'm working. Other than that, this has been today's episode of the Rules of Nerdquisition, and we watched The Trouble with Tribbles.
Yeah.
We loved it.
Loved it.
We loved the
Great
show.
episode. Loved it. It's a great way just to kind of see the see the funny side of the universe.
Blow some steam off.
See the funny side of the galaxy. You know, galaxy's
I
not
mean,
all doom and gloom. Everybody wants to shoot you
and
and
Jack the Ripper you and
right. You know, there's some parts where the universe is funny, and
yes,
this proves the universe is funny.
yeah, and it was fun. It was a great episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. See, what do we have coming up next week?
Next week, I believe. What is it?
After the Trouble of Tribbles, I know we're getting close. I'm getting really excited for this. No, we're getting next week is the Gamesters of Triskelion.
And I
But then
believe the week after
2 weeks
that,
from now,
After
2 weeks
that,
from the day, the episode that started it all, she.
we got the episode starting it all, see? Went down to Blockbuster and got us on the on VHS, see? That's the first
so,
time I
so,
ever saw
so,
the original series, see?
right. Join us for the Gamesters of Triskelion next week, and then
Hmm.
join us for a piece of the action in 2 weeks, she.
Yeah, see? Coming for a piece of action, see?
Turn it on. The rules of
Yes.
Nerdquisition. See?
But, it's a great show. Great show. And I needed this.
Hmm.
So needed this.
Everybody needed a little laugh, a little giggle, a little fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just like I said, this is where I get my sign-off phrase of "keep your triple spade and neuter." This is why.
This is
This
why.
is why, people. This is why. Keep your triple spade and neutered, because why? You don't want here. You don't want to open a silo grain and then be buried up to them, and then just have one or two get thrown on your head.
Every 12 seconds, right? Yeah, that just makes it so much better that William Shatner's irritation and surprise was all that more
Like
real.
his
I
confusion,
am
his irritation, surprise, it just added to it.
all of it. Yes, so excited for this episode. I loved it. I had fun. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of Gamesters of Triskelion, but I haven't seen it in a long time. So I'm going to watch it and we'll be back to discuss that next week. And as always,
Mm.
I will leave Gilbert to sign us off and get us out of here. But we'll be back next week at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Same Trek channel, same Trek time.
That we will be. And again, Gamers Triskelion, piece of the action, see? So, everybody, keep a triple spade and neuter, see? We'll see you next week, see?